Steve has agreed to come here today to talk a bit about the way his job has been impacted from his training in influencing with integrity. Would you tell us first about how your interactions with your patients have changed?
I think the willingness of most operating room nurses to be involved and to directly connect with their patients to gain the patient's trust is an important facet of the job, and I know that that's increased with me as I've used the NLP skills with my patients. People are in a very stressed environment coming in for an operation, and family members are very stressed, and that first impression that you make and the first impression the patient has on you is very important. I have found that since I've taken the Influencing with Integrity courses, I have received several letters from patients' families, as well as people who have come back and asked me to be their nurse again because they felt a bonding with me. And that's something that's kind of been a good feeling for myself too, able to cue into the patient's nonverbal cues and to begin finding out a lot of information that isn't in the charts and things that could impact patient care later by getting that trust and dialogue opened up. And that's also helped my reputation in my job as physicians and other coworkers notice how well I've been relating to the patients and how much they seem to trust me. That's given me a lot more credibility in my job as someone who is highly professional and able to anticipate patients' fears based on how I've initially assessed them.
Well, that's really interesting. Those are concrete examples of a shift in your way of interacting. I'm wondering has your job changed since you had this seminar?
I've taken on a lot more responsibilities. Right now I'm involved in rewriting some of the hospital policies on valuables, procedures, and a number of other interdepartmental policies. Stanford's a large institution, UCSF Stanford. Our South Campus is a large institution, and these are been some policies that have been very troublesome that people have not been able to come to agreement on how they're going to handle certain steps as things move from the operating room through security to the cashiers and floors and emergency department, things along those lines. So I've been trying to facilitate better communication through the departments, and I've had a number of people who were in charge of working with policies and procedures comment very favorably on my ability to get things organized, to present something that draws people in and invites their input, and yet they don't feel threatened as though their territory is kind of being invaded. It's looked on much more as a problem-solving activity. And I think a lot of that has to do with the way that I've been able to communicate with them, to pick up their cues, to see how they're feeling, the way they see their problems, or people that want to have a real hands-on approach. I'll invite them, I'll fax you a copy, give me your feedback on it, and that's been very well received. So that's been a lot of interest to me. I've also been doing OR general educating, and for all the new hires that come into our department, we have a wide variety of people with diverse backgrounds, both culturally and educationally, filling jobs from instrument room, anesthesia tech, through hospital managers, nurse practitioners, OR nurses, recovery nurses. So I have to give a general orientation, and I need to be able to keep everyone tuned in through probably a course that was taking as many as 4 days before I took it over, is now boiled down to about a day with the same amount of content. And when I go back and check, the retention level seems to be much higher than it was in the past. I've opened myself up for a lot of feedback on information on how people responded to their general orientation, and that again, as I've gotten more comfortable with material and focused in on areas that were problematic and used the NLP skills, I've found that I've been able to up the satisfaction and their people's, how do you say it, openness and willingness to listen and to retain a large amount of information in our complex department.
So in other words, if I'm understanding you, you're using this to teach people, you're using it to create liaisons inside Stanford University Medical Center, and you're using it to improve your relationship with your patients and the patient satisfaction with the hospital. Boy, that sounds like a lot of uses of it.
You know,
You get it, you got your money's worth.
I've really been enjoying it. The other thing I've really noticed has been a lot of times in the past with like an educator position or things like that, that a lot of the other staff, you really need to have their support. And the criticisms that they have always been very well meant, but have been taken a lot of times as people kind of feel like they're being picked apart. And so you don't have a good cohesive group. And I'm able to kind of listen to their criticisms, take them in, and respond back to them, a very diverse group of people, and have gotten a lot of staff buy-in. So I'm having a lot of staff support, so when I need things from people, they're already on board. And so by directly communicating with them, bringing them in, and giving them the information that they need in terms that they can accept, I think it's increased my acceptance by the staff too.
Right,
this
in
new
other words,
role.
you're creating teams all over where you have good rapport with these teams so that you can actually get their involvement to accomplish goals that are beneficial to both of you. Does that
Yes.
make sense? Whew, that sounds like you really got it. I mean, you really understand how important it is to be able to communicate with people and get them to understand what your goal is and find out their goal, and then you work together to get it. And I think in a hospital, that is very important.
Well, I agree with that. The other thing that I have liked about this is I've been able to be much more efficient and speedy while I'm going through these things. I have, since the beginning of the year, have a stack of projects that I brought to completion, and a lot of things have been filing systems or things were in 6 or 8 rooms, and large projects we had to get a lot of people's feedback and things that normally, historically in our area, has taken a long time to get buy-in, to get staff feedback, to get approval from managers, and I seem to be able to expedite that somewhat.
So you save time, even with all of the new innovative procedures that you brought on. All of this is saving you time.
Right, which is giving me more time to get other things started. So
That's amazing.
It's very exciting. I'm really enjoying my position now. I feel like I have autonomy, control, and I'm getting much clearer signals from people on what they want done as they're able to see that they can rely on me. It's a lot less confusion. Things are like, okay, A, B, C, D, and E, and I don't have to go back and get clarification because I get it right at that point.
Boy, you're a walking, talking advertisement, Steve.
That was an excellent course.
Listen, you be careful. Take good care of yourself. I'm really delighted to hear all this, and I appreciate your coming so much to tell us about it, because you really are the kind of person that I love to teach, because you take it back and use it, and then you reap the benefit. I gather from what you're saying that you're enjoying your job more.
Oh, my job satisfaction has doubled. I look for